What's going on, fight fans, and welcome back to the show. Ryan Jarrell and Ugly Man Joseph Holmes here, as always, and we have another special guest for you. This time, it's Jay the Joker Perrin on. Jay, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Feels good to be here. You know what I mean? Been fat and happy for the last like 4 months, and then I'm happy to be breaking down these fights. It's gonna be a good card, so I'm happy to be here to do this with you guys.
We really appreciate it, and hopefully, we do see you back fighting again soon. Hopefully, sooner than later. It's UFC Vegas 72. That's what we're breaking down today. So, as always, let's start right at the top of the card. The main event is Curtis Blaydes and Sergei Pavlovich. Curtis Blaydes is your favorite, minus 175. Pavlovich is the dog, plus 150. Jay, you are our guest, so I want to start with you, my man. What do you see happening in this main event heavyweight bout?
Every time that I think that Curtis Blaydes is going to be outmatched, he just brings somebody down and elbows them to death. So that's really, you know what I mean? That's all I really depend on him. I do think that he can get Sergey down. It's a tall task, but I do think that he can do that. I don't know how. I don't know if I've ever seen Sergey do well off of his back. I don't know how many heavyweights really do. So I think that if Curtis does get him down, he's gonna do what Curtis does and just elbow him from the top. So I'm giving it to Curtis there. Just from experience.
What do you think of Joe?
Dude, I heavily agree with Jay. Curtis has been looking better and better every fight.
Mm-hmm.
His stand up has got phenomenal lately. His timing has been on point. Now Sergey looks really explosive as well. But yeah, I just don't think I've seen enough of him.
And just to like add on, I just think that Curtis has the more complete skill set, if
Yeah.
I may. And now that he's been adding to his stand-up game to an already pretty immaculate wrestling game, especially in the heavyweight division. Um, he puts all that together. He's a very, very dangerous competitor. He has been already, but the more his game evolves, you know what I mean? The more the one trick ponies are just gonna have a hard time with him. You know what I mean? Because I
Well,
see Sergey's
he's taken out some high level competition, and
all as
he
well.
lately you've seen him really put it together with faking the takedown, coming up with that long two, and
Mm-hmm.
just really looking awesome, man. So
Yeah,
I too got Curtis.
Curtis.
I'm going to make it 3 for 3. I like Curtis as well. I will say Pavlovich, from a betting perspective, man, he does have that one hitter quitter. He's got a lot of power. And, his look at his last two fights. He beat Tai Tuivasa and Derek Lewis both in the first round. So this guy's legit. He's no joke. What are you going to
But
say, Jay?
But if you look at those two opponents, they're exactly like him. You know what I mean? They're like against the other opponents that are like, I guess fight IQ comes into it, because as much as I love Bam Bam and I love Derek Lewis, I don't know if fight IQ is something that comes up with them. And if Curtis gets in trouble on his feet, we know what he's going to do. He's going to change that tactic. So I think that that's a solid call.
Yeah, I think the wrestling is going to be the deciding factor here.
Yeah.
If Curtis wants to go to that pedigree and utilize his wrestling, we'll see what Pavlovich can do. But I feel like that really could be the deciding factor. So we're all 3 for 3 here. We're going with the favorite, Curtis Blaydes, to get the win. Official prediction, guys. How does he get it done, Jay?
Ground and pound TKO, and I would say the third, because again, Pavlovich is still no, he's not a chump. I'm not going to say that this is an easy win. He's definitely going to have to earn it because he's strong. It's going to be difficult to get him to the ground, but as soon as that does happen, I would say TKO late second round.
I see Curtis dropping his ass at the beginning of the second. I could see him dropping him just because how dangerous he is on the ground, man. And he fakes it the whole fight. He's constantly like level changing,
Mm-hmm.
coming up with the two, level changing, and like driving through. Even if he doesn't get it, he still just kind of shoots in for the shot. Like Curtis is great. So I got him knockout early second.
All right, can't wait for that one. Now, your co-main event is Bruno Silva and Brad Tavares. Silva is the dog, plus 135. Brad Tavares is your favorite, minus 155. Man, I was looking at both of these guys' records and their age as I got ready to hop on here for the show. I'm surprised that Tavares is only 35. I feel like he's been around forever. So
You know what's so funny is that when I met first time I ever met Brad was he was on The Ultimate Fighter like years ago, and I think I was like 15. when I got there. And then like 10 years later, we're in the same UFC locker room. And I'm like, I told him, and I'm like, dude, you're old, you're ancient. You know what I mean? Like you're like part of the crew, part of the shit. You know what I mean? Like that's great. You just like phase into the PI. That's pretty much him. But no, he's been around forever, dude. And it's actually kind of shocking because he looks like he's 20.
I know he's in great shape.
He does have a baby face.
He does, man. They like hit like if you stood him and Max Holloway like next to each other, you know what I mean? Like Max wears it. You know what I mean? You could tell he's been through some shit. But but you know, Brad's got baby smooth skin. You know what I mean?
He's looking good. Joseph, does Brad Tavares get the win here? Do you feel like he's the rightful favorite, or do you think there's money on Bruno Silva?
You know, I like Brad, but I feel like he's just like he doesn't have anything very, you know, that just like stands out about him. He's just kind of like an average fighter in my opinion. Bruno is a scary looking guy, you know what I mean, and very strong. I'd say Tavares just from the experience, just from how long he's been around. You know, I don't think Bruno's going to bring anything he hasn't seen. So I got Tavares.
Jay, what are you thinking here?
I'm just looking up Tavares' record as of late, you know, and he's kind of so not I love Brad. I really do. Let me just say that first and foremost. That's team captain at Extreme Couture for sure. But it just seems like he's streaky, if that's the best way that I could put his career. Maybe as of the last couple of years, he'll win a few, then he'll lose a few, then he'll win a few, then lose a few. Not like unlike myself. And I think that Bruno is up on the rise, and I don't know. I really do play into. He's coming off of a loss. I'm going to go with Bruno. As much as I hate to say that, I think that Bruno's just got momentum on his side, and he's kind of coming up, and Brad is not to say descending in his career, but maybe plateaued in his career so far right now that, you know, to say that he runs for like a title shot or anything, even the top 15 seems a little bit, you know, a little bit of ways away. As Bruno Silva gets a few more wins, well, then he's in that conversation for at least a top 15 spot. So like, I'm going to go with the momentum here. And I would go with Bruno just on that. But again, not to take anything away from Brad at all. I think kind of what Joe says is perfect. He's got a good, like a good but not great skill set everywhere, and I think that that's not going to be enough to beat kind of the explosiveness of Silva. That's my opinion. You know, I could be wrong. I honestly hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I hope that Brad tells me to go fuck myself later. You know what I mean? I really do.
I can tell you from my point of view, from a betting aspect, I'm staying away from this one because I do believe it's going to go the distance. I think it's going to go to the judges. Both of these guys are tough. They're durable. They can stay in there and take some punches. So I honestly feel like this is a coin flip. So I'm staying away from it. I think it can go either way. And that's how I feel about it. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. This next fight, man, this really could.
Hey, real quick. I'm so sorry, dude. USADA just came to my house right now.
Oh, dude, go take a pee. Yeah, go have a fun time.
Okay. Yeah. Do your thing.
Super weird situation. Sorry.
Do your thing, baby. USADA strikes again.
Yeah, right. What do you want me to do? Do you want to just cut off here? Or?
No. We'll go do your thing. We'll keep the show rolling, and hopefully you can come back and join us before you're done. But this is
Love
fantastic.
Love them. Okay, they're the best, aren't they? They're the best.
Yeah. I will
All right, he's gone.
Okay, he's
Later,
gone.
Joe has left the building.
It's just you and me, Jay. All right.
Fantastic.
We'll keep it rolling, brother. Let's talk about Jared Gordon and Bobby Green. I can't wait.
This is so tough this one, dude. I've been agonizing over this one a little bit because the more I look at it, the more it's like, well, this isn't, do you know what I mean? Like, this isn't like a far away. When I first heard it, I was like, Bobby Green. You know what I mean? Like Bobby Green all day. But it's like, Jared is very good. You know what I mean? Like you watch his work and you're like, well, maybe not. Maybe it's closer. So now I'm like back and forth about who I think is going to go up for this one. Definitely going to be an entertaining one at the very least. It's a Bobby King fight. So Bobby Green, pardon me.
Well, this is one for like the real MMA fans. I mean, if you follow the sport, you know who both of these guys are. They've been around for a long time, and they have fan-friendly styles. They're going to get in there. They're going to mix it up. They're both well-rounded. This could be a fight of the night. I was actually a tad bit surprised as to how different the odds were here. I thought it would be a little bit closer. Bobby Green, pretty sizable favorite, minus 255. Jared Gordon as your dog, plus 215. Do you feel like Jared Gordon can pull the small upset? Like, what is his course to victory here?
I think that's a war of attrition. I don't think that he's got, not to say that he doesn't have the tools to finish, but this particular opponent, I don't think that he has, he's equipped to finish Bobby Green. I think that he can dominate him at best in position to position, but I think that he's going to have to squeak out a hard fought decision here. And to get into a boxing match with Bobby Green is never going to be an idea. And I'm not just going to say that you're going to take Bobby down, because that's also a feat in and of itself, because he knows that people want to do that to him. So I think Jared's he's going to have to use everything in his toolbox, really, because of how smooth Bobby is on his feet and how hard it is to get him down, how good he is at creating a scramble. So yeah, I think that he's going to have to start faking takedowns, touch up, and get Bobby guessing quite a bit, because backwards, forwards, Bobby can hit you with good power and precision from any kind of direction with that, and it's kind of hard to mimic him. You know, I've never really seen anybody mimic Bobby Green in training. So I don't know. It's a tall task, but I think that he can definitely do it. And not to say that he can't, but he's going to have to use everything he's got at his disposal to do so.
Sounds like, just by what you're saying, you're kind of leaning Bobby Green here, though.
I think that Bobby's just a little meaner. You know what I mean? Bobby's as the fight gets going, and maybe this is just bias. Not that I don't like Jared. I really do. I just think that and I think that he won his last fight. Absolutely beat Patty. And I'll say that up and down that hill. I just think that on the feet, that if he gets into just a stand and strike match, it's just not a good matchup standing. If he can get it to the ground, that's all Jared. Mm-hmm. I think Jared wins that, but I think that it's going to be more of a sprawl and brawl, and Bobby's really good at keeping his range on the outside. So it's going to be a tall task to do. He even though his hands are down, he's really good at keeping you at distance, and that's where all of his punches snap. So that's, you know what I mean? As you're coming in, he's great at measuring that distance and keeping you from that good shot and when you get inside. So I think that, yeah, I would say Bobby Green's got a better idea of what he's going to do in there. That's just me. It could, again, another one that could go either way, but I'm going to lean towards Bobby Green.
Okay, yeah, I definitely have this one circled for a potential fight of the night. This really is one that I can't wait to get going. This is a lightweight bout. Bobby Green, Jared Gordon. We'll keep it moving here. We'll drop down to the female 125-pound division. Brogan Walker, Iasmin Lucindo, and Brogan Walker is a pretty sizable dog here, plus 280. Lucindo minus 340. What are your thoughts on this female bout?
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't have a lot of time to look at this one. You know what I mean? On the way over. I don't have anything for this one, to be completely honest with you. I didn't have a time to write this one down in my notes. But I'll take your take on it. I want your take on it. How about that? Let's go with that.
I mean, I think Lucindo's the safe bet here. She did lose most recently in, I believe it was August. It was a UD to Yahya Uruguay. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but outside of that, man, I mean, she hasn't lost since 2019. She was on a pretty sizable winning streak. She's well-rounded. You talked about, like, being, I don't know if means the right word. She's aggressive. Yeah, so
I only know that. Now that I'm looking up the pictures because I'm terrible with names and faces. I'm looking at Yahya Lucindo. I remember that
Iasmin.
Iasmin. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you see this. I apologize. How old is she? I remember she was also young, because Yahya, the one that she fought right? Is that what I'm thinking of? This is the two young girls that fought and was like a holy war is what it was.
She's 21. Iasmin is 21.
21.
And
That's what I mean. That's what
yeah.
I mean. So she's young still. And I remember watching her, and she was explosive and strong and came up the gate super, super like aggressive, and then just got sloppy over time. You know what I mean? It just seemed like unpolished. You know what I mean? And I think that if she's taken any time to kind of correct that at all, just kind of staying to her game plan, she's a dangerous young woman. That's that one she gave. That last fight she had was a war. She absolutely deserves her spot in the roster. I don't know much about Brogan Walker or how much experience she has, but if she's got any kind of chance, she's going to need to slow this young woman down because if she comes out as Brogan's going to need to have to slow her down, because if she comes out hot and heavy, like she normally does, she can just kind of bide her time, then she makes mistakes on her own. But this girl is aggressive, like she's coming at you the whole time, and she's trying to hurt you. So
she's looking to get a finish. And Brogan's a little bit older; she's 33, so they might be in different spots of their career. One might be winding down, one might be just getting started. So, and the UFC, they like to really get behind some of those younger fighters that they can, hopefully make stars. So we'll see what happens here in this matchup between Lucindo and Walker. We'll keep him, man. This next fight, I'm so excited for. Jeremiah Wells, Matthew Semelsberger. This is a pick'em. It's minus 110 on both sides, and it's welterweight bout. I'm going back and forth here on this one. I feel like I'm leaning towards Wells. I feel like he's a little bit more explosive, a little bit more dynamic. Are you feeling the same way, Jay, or am I shortchanging Matt Semelsberger here?
I don't think you're too far off base with that. I think he's, he reminds me of a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, he reminds me of like a pit bull terrier he's just mean in there, but he's got the pop, and I don't think that's far off, and I don't think it's insulting to make it close. Because I've kind of gone back and forth on it. The more I've really thought about it, because they have two good skill sets. I don't know, something in my gut just tells me Wells has it. Not to diminish pardon me, loading the bout page on my phone. Not to diminish his opponent's skill at all, but I lean more towards Wells.
Okay, we're on the same page right there.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Close fight. It's a pick'em. It doesn't get any closer than that.
No, it doesn't. I didn't realize Jeremiah's 36.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. Remember him from the regional scene, because he's from up around the Northeast region. He fought for CFFC. I believe he was a title holder there. So
I thought he was. I thought he was in his 30s, but I didn't realize it was 36. I thought he was like 32 or 32, 33, right, something like that. He's up there. You know what I mean? So
I'm with you. We'll see what he can do. It's definitely a must-win for him. He wants to stay in the UFC and keep that train rolling. We'll move now to Ricky Glenn and Christos Giagos. This is a lightweight bout, and Glenn's your favorite, minus 162 on Bet Online. Giagos is the dog, plus 142. What are you thinking about this one, Jay? Do you feel like Glenn is the rightful favorite, or is Giagos here someone that might be able to spring a small upset in this lightweight bout?
Pardon me. I think I had Ricky Glenn favorite. I know more of him. You know what I mean? I've watched more of him than Giagos. I would say that's fair. I don't know if it should be that what was the odds again? I'm sorry. Was it plus?
Giagos, it's pretty close. I mean, he's plus 142. Glenn is minus 162. So it's not crazy.
I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that's unfair. And I don't think that's underestimating Glenn or really, but I would put it more on the experience side for him. I've watched more of Ricky Glenn's work. I like Giagos as well. I think I would lean more towards that. But again, I don't like when I hear odds like that, that's basically even. You know what I mean? To me, that's not really an advantage at 140 and 160 or minus 160. So I don't think it's hard to even call somebody a dog when the odds are really that razor thin. So I don't think that's inappropriate, if I may.
Okay. Yeah. Well, when you look at Giagos, two losses in a row to Thiago Moises and Arman Tsoukakian, those are two high-level opponents right there. On the other hand, Ricky Glenn, the Gladiator Glenn, he is coming off it was a majority draw with Grant Dawson. And Grant Dawson is legit. I'm sure you know all about
Oh yeah,
Dawson is. This guy is a stud. So yeah,
I love Grant Dawson.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud. So that's right there as a feather in your cap. Even if you get a draw with someone as good as Grant Dawson, that just shows how high level you are. So I think Ricky Glenn is probably the rightful favorite here, but we'll see. That's why they fight. But that is a lightweight bout. And I believe that kicks off the main card, if I'm not mistaken. All right, we're gonna go to your weight class next. Bantamweight.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Montel I love judging Jackson. My own kind. It's
exactly.
Great.
This is actually the biggest discrepancy as far as odds go on the whole card. Montel Jackson minus 550 over Rani
Yahya.
That.
Yeah, I saw that.
20. What do you think? Is this Jackson's
against
fight to
Rani
lose?
Yahya? That's crazy. I think that's nutty. You know what I mean? Rani Yahya has been putting on wild performances for a while. I like Montel. I've met him. We've done a couple of podcast episodes together. He's funny. He's a funny guy, and he's a very hard worker. I'll give you that. His striking's immaculate. I just think it's minus 550. That's ridiculous. I think that's a little ridiculous. Where's that based off of what, if I may? You know what I mean? I don't know how much, because Ronnie's got a larger body of work.
Oh yeah, he's 38. Do you think that's the reason? Maybe he's just older, and they feel like Montel being the younger.
But we just go back 2 fights ago. That guy's 36. He was the, you know what I mean? He was the favorite there, was he not? So yeah. I mean, minus 5. I think Montel has all the potential in the world to be something great. But that's like you're saying that Sean O'Malley fought me. That's minus 500 favorites right now. Do you get what I'm saying? That's such a deficit that it just implies that these two people aren't anywhere close to the same range. And I just don't agree with that. I don't know, because I maybe I just have too much respect for Rani Yahya, but I just don't think it's minus 5. Maybe I'll give you minus 300, 300 maybe, but 550 seems steep. Somebody knows something that we don't. You know what I mean? That's, I don't know. I disagree with that. I don't think that this is going to be that it implies that it's not going to be a fight, and I just don't see that. You know what I mean? Especially if it goes to the ground. That's Ronnie's swimming like a shark in water. So I just don't see that. So that's my opinion there. I think that this is a very good match. I think it's even a step up for Montel to be completely honest, and in that implies that it shouldn't be such a favorite. You know what I mean? If you're the one that's kind of coming up to the more experienced guy, wouldn't that imply that the experienced guy would probably be better, right?
Oh, for sure. I think when you look at just the numbers here, I mean, Montel is 30 years old, so he's got 8 years younger than Yahya. But I think the big thing that I see is a 7.5 reach advantage. So
that's up there.
Here, that could play a significant factor in this fight. I think that might be why Montel Jackson is such a big favorite, if he can utilize that jab and cruise to a victory right there. But against the veteran, like you said, Rani Yahya. Joseph is back. How was the Pete test?
It was good, man. Sorry,
dude. That was quick for you. I should tell you my story, dude, because it didn't end quickly. Tell you that much. Took them a while to get mine.
Oh, you couldn't pee?
I couldn't pee. Then we watched a movie together. You know what I mean? He's a real sweet guy. I got to know him, you know. We exchanged numbers. We go out for beer sometimes. It's good.
Dude, I remember one time they came out of camp for me, and we had just ran out of water, so I started just throwing beers back just so I could pee.
That's so good.
So how long does it take for you guys to get the results when USADA does show up? Is it quick?
A month later.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Here's what I was under the impression of. If you don't hear anything, you're good. You know what I mean? If your manager gives you a call, you'll get an email no matter what. But you'll know right away if something happened. They will.
Yeah, because
it's pretty quick. You know what I mean? In that same week, they've checked you everything. And if you don't hear anything in the first few days, you're probably straight. You know what I mean? But even if, I'll tell you, and maybe Joe can kind of attest to this, even if you don't do a damn thing wrong, you know what I mean? You take I just tell them I take the supplements the PI gives me, right? That's it. you've done nothing wrong. Every time they come to pee, right before I'm about to pee, I'm like, what have I done in the last year and a half that might ruin my entire future right now? Wait a minute. I put that butter on there. What'd they make that butter with? I don't like that. You know?
Yeah, I don't take hardly anything like ever.
I didn't.
So
No.
I usually know pretty quick, like, did I take some? Because I just never take anything. So
anyway.
All right. Well, it's part of the job, you know, fighting in the biggest promotion in the world. You got to deal with USADA stopping in.
Sometimes they'll watch you take a poop. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sometimes they'll sit there and watch, you know? Imagine being a kid and being like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I don't know if it was watching other dudes pee in a cup. I don't know if it was that.
I don't know if anybody wanted to.
It might pay well. The Benny's got to be great. You know what I mean?
They have great. We
bennies.
get punched in the face and we don't have insurance.
We don't got no bennies. You know what I mean?
I don't know the answer to this. I've never asked. I've never been on an interview or do a show like this where USADA shows up and takes one of the co-hosts away. Do they actually watch you pee? Like, are they like watching you?
Oh, they're in the room, baby.
Yeah,
they are.
Dude, he's right there. I mean, you just leave the door open and pee. I mean, you don't really make eye contact while you're doing it, so you don't know.
Okay.
You don't know how much of his dick he's actually seeing. You know, but you know, like this. Kind of like make sure. You know, yeah, we just like
he's just over your shoulder, like
yeah.
Excellent form. No, he's just in the room. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hold on, I think I'm on the wrong side.
It's good. It's good. Hey, so we were talking about Rani Yahya versus
Montel Jackson.
Montel Jackson.
Oh, I like Montel.
Okay, and I agree that that's a winnable fight. But do you agree that it should be minus 550 towards Montel?
Is that the
odd, dude? Do you think against Rani Yahya it's minus 550?
Yeah, I don't even know much.
That's absurd. Yahya. That's absurd. I think he's just got too big a body of work that involves too many good finishes and great fights. I don't think that's a fair. Maybe the 7-inch reach thing might have something to do with it. Is Yahya coming off of a win or a loss?
Oh, geez. He's got 2 wins in a row, a draw before that. His last loss was against Ricky Simone in 2019.
Ricky's
I'm confused. Main eventing. So like I'm confused. I don't know. That just seems gross. That seems like a gross exaggeration.
But I mean, shoot, there's some money there for all you gamblers out there. So
for sure, if you if you're a gambler,
because I think Montel's pretty good. I actually
he is. I have him winning the fight. I just don't think it's. Do you know what I mean? Minus 550 implies that it's going to be a fucking landslide.
Oh, he's the favorite.
He's the favorite. Is what I'm
saying.
So I'm saying that just implies that it's going to be a landslide. But if it's that, if Montel is fighting the more experienced guy, wouldn't that imply again that he's going up in competition? So why would, if that's the case, the odds be such a distance apart from each other if he's the one that's coming up? Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure. I do. I know exactly.
See, that's why I'm confused by that. But that's just me. I mean, but if you're gambling, I would put a little money on Yahya just in case, because the odds are so goddamn large. But there's no way to indicate skill for skill that Montel is just going to wash him on paper. You know what I mean? Not to say that he doesn't and if he does, again, I could be completely wrong, because again, he's very talented, and I think he's a future. He's definitely got a future and a long career ahead of him in the UFC. I just don't think that that's a fair assessment of these two gentlemen's skill. You know what I mean?
No, I think you're spot on with that, Jay. And two, again, from a betting aspect, there's some serious dog money on Rani Yahya here, right? But I think Montel should win the fight. He should utilize that reach and cruise to, I would say, a unanimous decision victory. Yeah. But I agree with you. I mean, Rani Yahya, that body of work, he's a veteran. He's a tough guy. So, there is some dog money there. We are under 10 minutes, so I want to transition here to a couple other fights. I want to motor down to actually what looks to be the first fight of the night. It's another bantamweight bout. So, Jay, I want to start with you here. Brady Houston and Danaa Batgerel. Houston is the dog, plus 135. Danaa, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, is the favorite, minus 155. What are your thoughts on this one?
I had a question. Who did Danaa fight last, if I may? Because again, names and faces are off the top of my head.
Jarrell. I'm not probably saying that wrong because my last name is Jarrell, but he's lost 2 in a row. He lost to Chris Gutierrez and Kyung Young Ho or Ko.
Gutierrez is not a bad loss.
Right.
That's not a bad loss considering what Gutierrez is a monster. You know what I mean? If it's who I think it was kind of a quick affair. Joe, you take it. Let me make my opinion about this one real quick. You go ahead.
Honestly, these guys are very new, but I know the Bad Jarrell guy. He's an animal. I would say Bad Jarrell's going to take it probably by decision. Hopefully, get a banger of a first fight of the night. I lost the card. Yeah, I would go with Bad Jarrell by decision.
Brady Houston was the runner-up for the previous season of The Ultimate Fighter. This kid, he's tough. He trains with Michael Chiesa, Juliana Pena. He's got some legit training partners. He's a stud wrestler. He had that UD win over Fernie Garcia. Again, he lost the Ultimate Fighter finale against Ricky Tercios, and that was a split decision.
Now I've got names and faces.
Okay,
boys.
So what are you thinking, Jay?
Brady is for his lack of experience. I've trained with him a little bit. He is a crafty grappler, man. He's very good on takedowns wise. He's always attacking for submissions. I like Bajarel's standing up though. I think Bajarel's definitely got him on the feet there. We sparred a few times, me and Brady, and again, I don't want to say anything, but it's or like do this thing where you're talking about training, but he's I guess it's just underdeveloped. That's the word that I'm trying to place. It's not as developed as his grappling game. I think that Bajarel definitely has the advantage there. Now that I'm looking at it, like it is. This is a good matchup, to be honest. I'm gonna go with Joe's pick though with Bajarel. I'm gonna go with that one too. It's gonna take a lot of work for him to get in on. I don't think that Brady's quite developed everything yet. He's so young in his career. He's only got 9 fights. That I think that once he develops his striking game, he then needs to learn how to integrate that with his good grappling anyway. So like there's like he's here and he has to keep doing this before he can beat somebody like this. I think that Bajarel just got the better pop on his punches, and it's going to take too much to get in on him.
Well, Brady's still super young, so he's got a lot of time left. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him a few times, so I definitely like him. I feel like he's got a huge upside, so I'm looking forward to this fight. Real quick, guys, just a couple of the other fights that we haven't talked about. One that I have circled that I'm really intrigued about is Mohammed Usman. That's Kamaru's brother, and he's taking on Junior Tafa, which is Justin Tafa's younger brother. This is a heavyweight bout, obviously, and this is essentially a pick'em. Tafa's making his UFC debut. I didn't know if either one of you guys had seen much about him. He seems to have a lot of experience in other realms of combat sports. Do you feel like he's going to have enough to get in there and beat Mohammed Usman?
I know Usman always has a cardio issue.
Thank you, Joe.
I mean, honestly, if it's a pick'em, I would I don't even have an opinion because I do like Usman, and I like Tafa, old Tafa. I don't, you know what I mean? But hopefully they just get in there and bang it out and give us a freaking show, honestly.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that being the thing. No, I don't see that. Honestly, I watched Usman, and not that the Usman name isn't legendary, but I just wasn't. I don't know. Was I the one that I wasn't spectacular? It wasn't spectacular to me. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything that like blew me away. I feel like his name got more attention than the performance, if I may. Tafa, like you said, Ryan, I haven't seen much. You can't find like MMA videos really. I can't, at least. And I don't know what other combat sports he's really involved in, but I don't think that at heavyweight it matters all that much how skillful you are. And this sounds bad because it does. Now that I say, when you say something out loud, and you're like, that sounded better in my head. What I mean is that when you're 235 pounds, whether you're 235 pounds or 265 pounds, if I hit you in the head, it's still 220 plus pounds hitting you in the fucking head. So at any point, that could just change unless you're like a world killer, like the top 5. Like if you have the top 5 of heavyweights, those are skilled as heavyweights. But from 5 up, you know what I mean? It really is just one punch away. So like that whole like rhetoric of anybody has one punch is heavyweights. You know what I mean? At any point. And I just don't like, from my own experience of watching Mohammed Usman, I just wasn't, there's nothing like that shows me, yeah, this guy's gonna kill somebody. It's that's just how I feel about it. And maybe I'll go with Usman because I've seen his work, but I don't like, there's nothing that like, he's not his brother. That's how I could put it. He's just not his brother. And then I don't, again, that he could eat me. He could crush me like a fucking accordion and eat me like cereal. But yeah, I just don't.
Not me.
You know, not me. Not you, dude.
Yes.
I can't stand you, Doug.
Joseph's getting ready for his big fight.
Huge.
UFC 288's around the corner. Real quick, guys, before we do sign off, a couple fights that we just didn't get to. Norma, Dumont, and Karol, Rosa. That's essentially, that's a pick 'em, man. I can't wait for that one. Francis Marshall is back in action. He's taking on William Gomis. Marshall's a -205 favorite. He looked really good at Contender Series, beating Connor Matthews, and then had a win after that. So I'm excited to see him as well. And also Priscila Cachoeira and Karine Silva are taking on one another as well. So Jay, we really appreciated you coming on here today.
I'm back.
Of course, dude. Anytime, dude.
Well, you're going to be back next week. That's what I was going to say. Because Joseph, this is your last show before your upcoming fight. You're going to take.
Oh, so he's my replacement. I like him. I approve. That's fine.
You know what I mean? I'm just a seat saver. I'm like a substitute teacher. Nobody listens or respects me. You know what I mean? That's what I'm just here. You know, I'm just making sure.
No, enjoy it, bro. Enjoy the seat. I kept it warm for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Dougie. Good luck on your fight, Dougie.
Thank you, man.
Well, Jay, we're excited to have you back, my man. Can't wait for next week. We'll break down UFC Vegas 73. Joseph, best of skill on Fight Night. Go get that win, and we look forward to
his ass, Seabass.
Hey, tune in.
Tune in. You heard it here first. All Access MMA. Let's go.
See you guys next week.
Love.
Later, baby.